You are unequally yoked. Your husband believes one thing, you believe another thing, and you have a daughter. And that daughter decide, oh, I'm going to practice the lifestyle of boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm going to have sex before marriage. I'm going to practice the worldly lifestyle. As a Christian mother or as a Christian father, you call your child and you want to teach them the right way. But if you are married to a woman that don't believe it, that don't believe in the things of God, that's not on the same level with you. Maybe your wife is just a church goer. She doesn't really practice anything that is preached in the church. She doesn't practice the word of God. And she goes to church and she hears what she wants to hear and go back and live whatever life she wants to live. And you are somebody that takes the word of God very, very serious. When you call your daughter and you want to minister to your daughter and say, my daughter, don't live the way of the world. Don't go into worldly lifestyle. The word of God said that your bed should not be defiled before marriage. Don't go into this whole boyfriend and girlfriend kissing and having sex before marriage. And you have a wife that don't believe it. She will sit there in that meeting and be rolling her eyes to that daughter and tell her, yeah, just pretend you are listening to him. She will go behind your back and tell that daughter, please don't listen to anything he's saying. Go and marry, go and date, go and do whatever you want to do. I just want grandchildren. Then your daughter is now hearing two different ministrations and she'll be conflicted. So even how you raise your family is affected in so many instances. If you are trying to groom your daughter and you are saying this is the way to dress, I want you to dress like a godly woman, I want you to do this, and you have a wife that is rolling her eyes and say, I beg, please, go and pile up all the makeup in the world. I want you to look sexy. I want men to be attracted to you. I want you to go out there so you can attract men. Please pull down that cleavage, that shirt some more so that your cleavage can show. Come on, what is all this cover up? Raising up your children will be a very difficult thing, because the children are of the flesh when they are not born again. And there's a high percentage that they will follow the advice of the wife who is not born again, because the things of the spirit are harder. But if you have a home that both husband and wife are on the same level and they are teaching the child the same spiritual food, then that child will be more challenged to live a godly life.
But I understand what you got to do. I feel you.
They gonna tear this place up.
Still what you don't want to shine? I don't know. What?
Is it that serious?
Let me highlight few stories of what people suffered when they are unequally yoked, or when somebody who was already married became a real Christian, became born again, and the husband was not born again. Every time she will go to church, when she come home, she will receive the beating of her life. Why? Because she went to church and the husband told her, I don't want you going to church. I don't want you going to that church, wherever they preach the real word of God. So every time she went to church, she would come home expecting the beating of her life, while she continued to pray and begging and pleading with the Lord to save her husband. But the husband continually beat her anytime she went to church. Another person, once she became born again, the husband hated her, hated the spirit in her, and told her, you know what, I want a divorce, get out of my house. And she told the husband, I can't divorce you, I'm a Christian, God hates divorce. And so in order for the husband to make her life miserable, he moved his girl in. First thing first, he started sleeping with different women inside their matrimonial home, inside their matrimonial bed in their home. When that did not move the woman and she still didn't ask for divorce, he moved the girl inside the house. And so you can imagine the terrible lifestyle and the misery that woman is experiencing because she's a Christian. There is no length that spirit of Satan, there's nothing that spirit is not willing to do to frustrate you. If you're a real Christian, that spirit wants to get Christ out of you. That spirit wants you to backslide. That spirit wants to destroy your Christianity. But that spirit does not show itself when you are dating, when you are in courtship, when you are living in two different homes, you are lovey-dovey, and you are preparing for marriage, that spirit does not manifest itself. It is after you become husband and wife, when you move in, when you become a married couple, and your routines start playing out, that spirit will start manifesting. So at the end of the day, when you go contrary to the word of God, only you will suffer the consequences. Don't be unequally yoked is real. Don't ignore it because of emotions. Emotions will die down. Few months after you are married to that love of your life, your emotions will calm down and you go to stage 2 of your marriage. And that's when reality will hit. That's when everything you never saw before, while you were dating, while you were mushy, when that phase pass, the second level of marriage, you will be seeing clearly. He will be seeing clearly, and that's when he will deal with you, or she will deal with you, because the person is not truly born again. The person is not a real Christian. The person is not even of the faith. Finally, you have a goal to reach heaven, and your partner has to help you in that journey. And if that partner has decided that, you know what, I don't care, it will be very, very difficult for you to make heaven, because that partner will be doing everything contrary to your journey. Not only the road to heaven is already narrow, it's already difficult as a human being. That journey is difficult because the whole world is contrary to that narrow road. Our society is contrary to that narrow road. Our media, all the things that is promoted in this world is against that narrow road to heaven. It's even worse when your own husband, when your own wife is contrary to that journey of yours. It will be very difficult for you to make heaven. You have to be willing to put up with a lot of terrible things. It's better that you obey than later on you start paying the sacrifices in prayers and in fasting and in running from pastors to pastor and running from churches to churches, running from pillar to post, running to pastors, running to all kinds of ministers, looking for help to save your marriage. It is better that you obey now than for you to suffer the consequences later. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. How's he doing?
Good.
All right. Come over here. I want to talk to you for a second.
Are you sure you're okay?
So I have not been completely honest with you over the last few months.
That's a really scary way to start a conversation.
Just hang with me here, okay? When you became a Christian, I freaked out. I mean, yeah, I was scared. And I felt like that I needed to save you. And so I decided to set out to prove this was all a big con. And so that's what I've been doing all this time.
Your research?
Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is all that stuff. That's why I've been so distracted. That's why I went to California. I just had to prove this whole thing wrong. But I couldn't. The evidence for your faith, it's more overwhelming than I could have ever imagined. But it wasn't just the evidence, okay? with you. You never stopped loving me. You never gave up on me. And I think because of that, God didn't either.
Oh. What? I mean, I don't think God gave up on you either, but what are you saying?
I can't even fathom that I'm gonna say these words out loud. I believe.
Okay, let me show you something. Show you. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God. Mm-hmm. To those who believe in his name.
And what does that mean?
That means believe plus receive equals become.
Okay. So then how do I receive? What's the protocol for that?
There's no wrong way or right way, just you talk to God.
Mm-hmm.
You tell him your heart.
Mm-hmm. And we do that right now. I mean, shouldn't we go to church? Or...
Right here, right now. This is church.
Okay.
Come here.
God. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I cannot ignore the evidence. And I don't know everything. I never will know everything. But I know enough. And I believe it. I'm sorry for what I've put my wife through, what I put my family through. But I believe you're real. And I don't know what comes next. I don't know what it means. I just know that I want that. I want whatever's next. So let's do that.